Hello there, and welcome to Eunice, broadcasting from Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea. Look, really good to see you again. And as you know, Eunice is dedicated, the only company in the world that's absolutely dedicated to finding your life purpose and getting your brand perfect. And we've been reviewing a book called The Hoffman Process. Hopefully, you can see that. Um, and we read the entire thing, and it is basically a summary of an 8-day course, which is the Hoffman process. Um, and Hoffman was a particularly talented psychologist who basically ended up in California as having a reputation for taking on people and helping them with things that no one else could help them with, not even psychiatrists and psychologists. So particularly anxiety, depression, hostility, all sorts of different things. So, who is this book for? It's actually quite a tricky question in some respects. I think, on balance, we'd say that the Hoffman process is probably for people who have behaviors that are negative or behaviors that people perceive are negative and particular addictions. In addition, people who really feel that their past is haunting them and they just can't move beyond it. It's also a process which is profoundly spiritual, not religious. So if you are somebody who's into spirituality, this may kind of resonate strongly with you. We'd also say more positively that it's for people who really want to sort of break through and get to another level. Who it's not for is the kind of corollary of that. It's definitely not for religious people because it sort of starts from the premise that if in fact you've got self-love and all else follows, and that tends to be a bit challenging for religious people because religions tend to focus on other people as opposed to the self. So that's kind of where we think it lands up. So people who are strongly religious, we would say that this book is really not for you. In terms of kind of summarizing what the book says, we've done, as usual, a summary for it. So the author, and I think firstly, we should say that they have taken the time to do some scientific work on the process and it shows that it works. It reduces hostility, reduces anxiety, reduces depression, and also allows people to engage with their spiritual self more fully. So while it's not strictly speaking a scientific process, the outcomes have been shown scientifically to work. And it's basically, I think it is, it's profoundly based on 4 principles, which are awareness, expression, forgiveness, new behaviors. So it's profoundly Freudian in that what it does is it reconciles two sort of schools of thought in psychotherapy. So one of those is that digging out the past can help you find your problems. The other one that it marries really nicely to that most psychologists don't necessarily do is the kind of spiritual side of things. So the basic thrust of the message is that in order to sort of break through to another level, you need to really deeply understand your past and you need to almost go back to your spiritual self with awareness and kind of go, what are the problems that we've experienced? In what way are they talk about acting out. Now, where is the anger that is getting in the way? Then they encourage you to do a whole series of stuff around expression, which is literally anything from dancing to vocalizing the hurts to writing letters to yourself and burning them. They're great believers in ritual, so it's about getting it out. And then the third principle is about forgiving yourself, basically, really at a deep level, not a kind of pat on the shoulder, but at a really deep level, kind of going, okay. And then it's about moving on, creating new behaviors. It's about creating a mission for yourself and essentially a plan to do that. From Eunice's point of view, The actual work on purpose, life purpose, is very light. So it basically says two things. It says, one, choose your work. Don't just kind of turn up and do it. And the other, it says that if you create a new relationship with money, then you'll feel a lot more abundant. Now, from our point of view, that is not really a deep dive into purpose, because often we find that the past is about hidden points of flow. So for us, it's kind of really lacking there. But, you know, in fairness, if we were to sort of draw to a close and talk about you know, a balanced review of this book, it's brilliantly logical. Okay, and they've got fantastic examples, real life examples of people who've gone through the process, and they really kind of bring it to life, really kind of help you understand. And you know, it is a deep dive into the self. It's not some superficial thing. It's a really comprehensive deep dive into finding, you know, what it is that is blocking you, and moving on from that. I guess our feeling with this book is that while it is a valiant and brilliant attempt, it is a bit like going to, you know, going to Netflix and watching a documentary about life in New York as opposed to going there. I mean, it's only so much you can do when you've got a book to kind of recreate what is an 8-day residential program. Yes, that's an 8-day residential program. And I guess having said that, I suspect the author would probably say, well, if you've got your life sorted out, if you've dealt with the past and you've got a plan, then, you know, your kind of purpose falls from that. We wouldn't agree, because it needs dedicated time a lot more. So for us, it's kind of a brilliant attempt to do something really, really difficult. But you know, on balance, while the process itself doesn't have a scientific background, as we said earlier, the outcomes clearly are. So we give it a 6 out of 10 on science and a 7 out of 10 on pragmatism. We would have given it more. We just think it's incredibly hard to recreate this process. So that's it from Eunice. Definitely, if you're feeling that you're blocked, give this book a go. Certainly worth investing your time in, we would say. And that's it. And remember, if you're looking to get your personal brand absolutely nailed, and you're looking to nail your life purpose, then Eunice is here for you, and we would love to hear from you. Okay, all right, that's it for now. So broadcasting from Cyprus is now over, and I'm sorry I look a bit scruffy, it's because I'm on holiday, so I hope you'll forget that. Cheers for now.